Hello friends, hello to all. Rupali Sharma this side. I hope you all are well and fine at your home and safe at your home. So guys, today I'm sharing about my views and present to you about one of the topic of cybersecurity field, that is digital forensic. So let's start. So first of all, I'm starting with a one quote, that is, technology trust is a good thing, but control is a better one. It's written by Stephen Napo. You always remember this. This is a very good one, good thought. So about my mission. My mission is to provide the cybersecurity knowledge and spread the awareness with people. As much as possible, you have to learn. And so always learn, practice, and earn. So remember one more thing, you have to update yourself in this field because it's a very vast field, and without any updation you can't improve, you can't grow up, and you can't grow up, and it's not going to improve your knowledge. You have to update about the cybersecurity knowledge, cybersecurity news, and about the latest tools and techniques. Okay guys, so if I talk about myself, so I'm a cybersecurity enthusiast and I work as an information security intern in ESEC 40 company. So I have a 1.5-year experience in the technical support executive, and I was an intern of some of the non-profit organizations where I learned about the cybercrime, digital forensics, cyber laws, and so forth. So you have also learned more and more as much as possible. So we'll start from here. Like I will tell you what we will discuss in this presentation. So we'll discuss about forensic, what is forensic and forensic science, and what is digital forensics, history of this forensics, process of the digital forensics, tools and types of digital forensics, what are the benefits and drawbacks of this, and why we do digital forensic, like in government organization or in corporate as well also. So and why it is important, and I will tell you some of one of the case study. And there are the many types of digital crimes like cyber crimes. So you have to update yourself about these crimes. And next is like from where you improve your knowledge and job profiles in digital forensic courses to learn, and certifications and book references. These all about I tell you, and I hope you will understand from my presentation. So first of all, I will tell you about the forensics and forensic science. So if I talk about forensic science, so these are the two words. If I differentiate these two words, so forensic means it is used in the court of the laws and public debate, and science is called a knowledge, we can say it. Okay, so forensic science means it is a technique to catch the criminals with the help of a technology or science. Okay guys, I hope you will understand. So I will tell you, like, no matter how clever the criminal is, because definitely if he or she leaves some the clues of the crime behind that scene. So let's take an example. Criminals delete one of the criminal delete all the data of the system or the mobile phone. Then they went, and but after all that process, forensic investigator took that digital media as a evidence. Like if it is a like system, computer system, or it will be mobile system, it can be. So as evidence, like forensic teams take that digital media as evidence, and when they find the data was nothing, like, so they will use some techniques, tools, or software to extract this all the data, and then retrieve that data. And almost it is possible to retrieve all the data. So sometimes it's not, but almost it is possible. So according to this, forensic team will get to know who is the criminals and all that. Okay guys, so like that, forensic science, also known as the criminalistics, it is the application of science to criminal and the civil laws, mainly on the criminal side during the criminal investigation, as governed by the legal legal standards of the admission evidence and the criminal procedure. So forensic science is any science used within the criminal justice system. We can also say that while this definition, maybe it is simple to say like the field of the forensic science is anything, but it's simple. Yes, it can be, but it can't also. So crime scene investigators and lab technicians use the specialized skills and the tools to collect, analyze, and present the evidence in order to solve a crime or successfully convict the offender. So what is digital forensics? If I explain about this, I hope you will you understand like what is forensic science. So digital forensic is the branch of the forensic science. It is also, we can say, it is also known as the cyber forensics, which means the relationship with the computers. Okay, and it deals with the collecting and the examining the electronic data that can be the useful in a criminal investigation. The investigation process of the digital forensics begin by the performing legal and the technical task necessary for the settings up an investigation. So in that we can see like digital forensics is also defined as a process of the preservation, identification, extraction, documentation of computer evidence which can be used by the court of the laws, and it is a science of the finding the evidence from the digital media also, like the computer system, mobile phones, servers, networks, and all that. In that we can also see that like digital means the digital devices we can see, and the cyber means the computer related to the computer network or the computer devices. It's almost the similar, almost same. So if we split the two words digital forensics, if we split these two words also like as forensic science, so in the digital forensics of digital means digital devices and which can be involved in the crime, and forensic means in the scientific techniques we can say it is used to investigate the crime. If we combine these terms, it means the cyber forensic investigation is to investigating the digital devices, like it involved in the crime using the scientific techniques. Okay guys, so with the help of these electronic devices and the cybercrime rate are increasing day by day in the digital era, and in 2020 many of the cyber crimes are reported, like approximately it's a 63.5%, and in that approximate situation, like 90% of the crime cases were involved in the digital devices, like with the help of the digital devices, like crimes are increasing. In government and the private sector, both are required the cyber forensic investigator. Without digital forensics, it can't analyze the crime, like cyber crime we can see, or digital crime it can be. Okay guys, so digital devices, if I said like which digital devices are involved in the for digital crimes, cyber crimes, it can be all types of digital devices like the mobile phone, digital camera, digital watches, Bluetooth devices, pen drives, and etc. The other like iPods also, iPhones also, like all that. Okay, so if I talk about the history of the digital forensic, so you can search I will explain some point, but you can search on the Google as well. So in this 1970s, crimes involving the computers were dealt with using the existing laws. The first computer crime was recognized in 1978 Florida Computer Crimes Act. which included the legislation against the unauthorized modification or deletion of the data of a computer system. Over the next few years, the range of the computer crime being convicted increased. Okay, so and the laws were passed through deals with the issues of the copyright, like privacy and the harassment. So for example, like we can see cyberbullying, happy slapping, cyber stalking, online predators, and child pornography. It was not until the 1980 that federal laws began to incorporate the computer offenses. Canada was the first country to pass the legislation in the 1983. This was followed by the US Federal Computer Fraud and Abuse Act in the 1986, Australian amendments to the Crimes Act 1989, and the British Computer Misuse Act in 1990. So according to this, like they are like I use the cyberbullying, happy slapping, these terms. So you can also check on like more detail, you can check on the Google. Like I will tell. So like what is cyber stalking? So it is like it is the use of the cyber stalking, use of the electronic communications to harass someone or by sending some threatening messages or emails. And happy slapping means when a group of the people assault a stranger at a random while filming the incident on a mobile phone. Like we can say also, more the people one or more people attack a victim for the purpose of recording the assault. Like it's a related to the recording, like some record some bad scenes and this type of crimes. Okay, and it is all like, and cyber stalking and cyber bullying is almost similar, so we can check it. So there are the many types of cyber crimes that happen, and it's not only it not happen only one day, it's increasing day by day, day by day. So all these stop these crimes, and there are the many types of laws also, like many IT acts also. So to punish the criminals and all that. You can check it on the Google as well. Everything you can find on the Google, but you have to aware about yourself about the digital forensics or cyber crimes and IT acts of the cyber crime, cyber laws, like all that. So we'll go on the next topic. So that is the process of the digital forensics. So in the digital forensic process, we have the different steps like identification, preservation, analysis, documentation, and presentation. Like these five stages, process are the mainly these five process it happens. So first of all, like I explained the identification. In the identification, it identifies the crime scene, and this process includes like what evidence is present and where it is solved and how it to solve. And evidence can be any digital device, means it can be any digital device to identify. In the preservation, in this data is secured, isolated, and preserved. It includes preventing people from possibly tampering with the evidence. Third, like analysis. What is analysis? Like investigation agents reconstruct the fragments of the data and draw conclusions based on the evidence found. And in the documentation, we can see a record of all the visible data must be created, and it help in recreating the crime scene, and it include the proper documentation of the crime scene along with all the digital evidence. Okay, so when they gather the digital evidence, and this is the main motive of the documentation. Like if they don't have any digital evidence, so they can't be shown in the court, they can't be. And last is presentation. So it means that this means the whole the process, it summarize whole the process and explain the conclusion, like what will happen in that crime, or what will happen in that like case, cyber case or cyber crime case, and all that. types of digital forensics. But before the types of digital forensics, I will tell you the one example. Let's suppose if victim wants justice or face any problem related to the crime, related to the cyber crime, or so any cyber attack or cyber crime will happen with that person. So if they complain, they complain, and so let yeah so they will complain in the cyber cell or the police station, near police station. Then the cyber cell do the investigation with the help of the electronic gadgets and devices. It will include all the process. First of all, they identify that, then preservative, that like isolated, the data is secure and preservation and all that. After that, they analyze that with the help of the tools and techniques, and they extract that data. Okay, so with the help of the electronic gadgets, they will do all the process, they will use these processes. Okay, and that electronic devices are like the digital evidence, which they will show in the court as a proof. So digital devices can be like mobile phone, computer devices, and computer systems, hard drives, and it can be any type of devices like pen drive also. It include also pen drives. And in that devices, digital forensic investigator role is to recover the data, and like that they will recover the documents, emails, photos from the hard drive and any other storage devices. They will collect all the data, they will store that data, and they will showcase all the data, and with the help of the digital evidence, and perform the full investigation process. After all that, they will prepare a proper report, and they will showcase or they will present in the court. So this is the example, and then we'll move on. The next topic is the types of the digital forensics. So there are the many types of digital forensic. As you have seen in this PPT page. So that's a computer forensic, network forensic, mobile device forensics, forensic data analysis, IoT, cloud, database, email, memory forensics, and wireless forensic, and so on. So if I talk about like one of the computer forensics, I'm not going to explain all this, but I'm just giving you the brief, like what is these forensics, and what is including in that. Also computer forensic. So I will explain. First is the computer forensic. So in that, digital storage media can be like we can say hard disk, pen drive, and SD card, RAM. In this for a computer forensic, it included all these devices are included. Like computer forensic, we can say it was also a computer forensic science, which is a branch of the computer forensic science, and it pertaining to evidence found in the computers and the digital storage media. The goal of the computer forensics is to examine the digital media. Computer forensics can play a vital role in organization recovery from a cyber attack. In forensic analysis methodology, three processes are essentially, which includes preparation, identification, and analysis. It is during these processes that a post-mortem analysis occurs, including the file system. Post-mortem is not like that in the computer forensic they will they will post-mortem the any body of that. No, body means like in these digital crimes, they will the post-mortem is of the digital devices, post-mortem of the digital devices. So event logs, including file system, event logs, recovery of deleted files, we can say in that. So let's suppose we take an example, like in a XYZ company, One day some attack or some fraud happen in that company, like some data breach they are facing, like that. So in that case, if I am from the forensic investigator team, so what will I do? I will perform the investigate and all the computer system. First of all, in a company there are the 100 computer systems, so I will investigate all the 100 computer systems, or my team will work on that. And in that case, first of all, we check all the event logs, browser history, activities, and all the file systems, all the computer, like all the devices of the hard drive computer, CPU devices, and all that, like RAM and all, and every internal, like any, if a company have any software, so they will check the software processes and all. So after all that, what they will found, culprit is not any employee of the company. Like if they are not find any scene in the company, in the employee of the company, like they are not find any culprit, if culprit is from the company employee, so like that. So they will check this process because of only find that. So after that, they will what the forensic teams do, what my team will do. My team will take a lot of the data to check. In the 100 of the system, there are the lot of the data, like they are the all the data of the company, let's take like that. So we take the duplicate copy of all the data of the company and to analyze with the forensic tools and check the data in the lab. That's why we take all the data and we take all the copy of the data. After that, analysis whatever the data we get as a proof. After the analysis, so after that, extract it and prepare a proper report, and all the process complete. This is all the process is in the computer forensic. I hope you will understand. I hope you understand what I explained. So next is the mobile phone forensic. So in that, mobile forensics is a type of the digital forensic and concerned with acquiring the digital evidence from the mobile devices. Mobile devices include any computing device such as phones, smartphones, tablet, wearable devices such as smart watches, and able to make phone calls using the standard communication networks like GSM, 3G, 4G, and 5G also. It also included 5G nowadays because it's already launched. So such a device is usually location aware, meaning that it has a built-in the GPS or the similar satellite positioning system. Everything we nowadays in every mobile system, like updated mobile system, everything is included in that, like a computer system. So in this forensic, what we perform, investigators perform the investigation with the help of the mobile phones and SIM cards, to check all the data like text messages, phone calls, phone logs, social media details logs, and WhatsApp chat details, and extract all the data and analyze it. That is happening in the mobile forensics. So in any crime scene, we firstly seize the victim mobile phone or any gadget item. Someone put some malicious softwares, if I said like someone put some malicious software in your mobile device and hack your device and blackmailing you like that, so you can report it in the cyber cell. So they will investigate your mobile and they will first seize your mobile phone and check all the data of your mobile phone, and after all that forensics, they will find a criminal or culprit who will do this with yourself, with you. Okay. So next is network forensics. So in the network forensic, it is a sub branch of the digital forensics, and it is related to monitoring and analysis of the computer network traffic. So computer network traffic is network traffic. If you know about the networking and all that, so you will get to know. And they will collect the data, important information, and legal evidence. So data flow through the networks can be captured as a mass in the real time and stored for the later analysis, or analyzed in the real time with an option to save only segments of interesting events for further offline analysis. Network forensic deals with the volatile data only, unlike other digital forensic types. So in that, we if I tell you about network forensic in more detail, so to get the information in the network forensic, investigators first investigate the computer network traffic to gather the information. In the network forensic, this is the main point. So let's take an example. Some bank data hacked, and the hacker stolen money from the bank, in the bank, all the money they hacked and they stole it. So in this case, first we check the bank network in which all bank the PC are connected, and check all the packets which are transferred from one network to another network. This is the network traffic, computer network traffic. We checked packets of the one system to another system, like that. So we get the path of the other network. So who hacked this, who, sometime it is very difficult to analyze, and sometimes it's very easy if it is not a big network, hacker has not a very big network. So forensic team will easily investigate. Okay. So I will tell you some tell you about the wireless forensic, email and database, and memory forensics. In the memory forensics, what they will investigate in the memory forensics, they will analyze all the hardware devices, like RAM. Memory means RAM, or cache memory. There are the many types of memory, so they will analyze that and recover all the data and collect as evidence. Means collect as evidence. They all gather after the gathering information. In the wireless forensics, it is a division of the network forensic, and the main aim of the wireless forensic is to offer the tools need to collect and analyze the data from the wireless network traffic. In email forensics, deal with the recovery and analysis of the emails, including deleted mails, calendars, contacts, and sent mails. Sometimes it's deleted, so all that forensics. In database forensic, it is concerned with the analysis of the data, metadata existing within a database, such as we can say Microsoft SQL Server, Oracle, MySQL, and other type of the databases. This is all about the types of forensics. And if you have any doubt in this, and if you want to know, so you can contact me. I will tell you about my LinkedIn account, so you can ask me. But I hope there is no need to ask me, because Google knows everything. So about the tools of digital forensic, there are the many tools about in digital forensic. We have many of the tools, more than 100 we have. So one of the tool is sorry, autopsy tool, RegShow tool, FTK image, browse history capture tool, Nailsoft tool. In this tool, all the tools are including network tool, browsing history tools, and image forensic tools are included in that, video forensics tools are included in that, Nearsoft tool in that, and Wireshark tool. In this Wireshark tool, you will capture or you will gather all the information about the network information, you will get it. Okay, steganography tool, EXIF data viewer tool, write blocker device tool. There are the many tools. So with the help of these tools, you can find the hidden data, deleted data, editing data. Like in the write blocker device tool, you get the read and write, you get the access, like you get the permission to read only access to data storage from the data storage devices. And this tool is a write blocker device tool, is only the read and write permission, no, not rewrite the data. They don't have, like in this tool, not we don't have any permission to rewrite the data. And in Wireshark, as I said, like it's a packet capturing tool. So there are the many types of packet we get to know about that network, like ICMP packets and ARP and RARP. There are the many types of packets you can capture it. It's like okay, so in steganography tools, there are the many of the tools in the steganography also. In that steganography tools, you will gather, like you will find the information about the image, like and if in any image there is some code is hidden, some some inside there something is hidden, but you can find out with the help of the steganography tool. Okay, you can find or encrypt that image file also, like image file I have already tell, like audio and video files, and encrypt all the networks in that with the help of the steganography tools. Okay, so there are the many tools, you can check it on the Google as well also. Okay, so next is the benefits of the digital forensics. So in that like to track down the cyber criminals or cyber terrorists, to produce the evidence in the court which can lead to the punishment of the culprit. Okay, so to recover the lost and deleted data information, in that we can I will tell you one more point, like if the criminal deleted all the information, so using the forensics tools, you will investigate and you will get all the data. You get, like you recover all the data, all lost and deleted data. Like if you have one hard disk, and your hard disk is corrupted, you think about that, like my data or my old data is deleted, and I'm not going, like in the future it's not it will not recover the data. But there are the many tools you can purchase, and you will recover all the data, you can recover your old data from your hard disk. Okay, so helps to protect the organization money and the valuable time. These are the benefits, and there are many types of benefits you get to know when you read and search about the forensics or digital forensics. Drawbacks of the digital forensics. So in that we can say need to produce the authenticate and convincing the evidence. Producing the electronic records and storing them is an extremely costly affair. It's a lack of the technical knowledge by the investigating officer might not offer the desired result. And evidence is accepted in the court. Without the evidence, it will not take as a proof. So these are the drawbacks, and with the help of if I said, like with the help of the digital forensic, we get and find the informations in the text and email, message, social media sites, and can provide the evidence. But without digital forensic tools or without digital forensics, we can't find the information, or without evidence we are not able to show the proper report in the court, because court will not accept your document, like your fake documents and without any evidence. They will not accept and they will not listening about your listening your side. Okay, so I hope you understand. So why we do digital forensics and why it is important. If I tell about this, so in this, forensic investigators investigate the cybercrime cases, investigate many of the cybercrime cases. So to get and find the information of the emails and deleted calls details and deleted data, they will get the all the information, and they will provide the digital evidence in the court or the cyber cell. That's why it is important. Sorry, it is why we do it, because gather together and find all the information, and to find the criminal or to find the culprit and punish to the culprit. Our government, our court or our laws will punish the criminals, like who will misuse our digital devices, or who misuse our digital devices and do crime scenes and take ransom with the help of the digital forensics, digital devices. So okay, and it provide sorry according to the cyber laws and the IT Act, they will they will punish the criminals. Okay, and it is important because because we use to find the suspicious activities done by the criminals. Okay, and those perform an illegal activities on their computers, or so forensic tools help to find these activities on the electronic devices and find who did this and why they did this. Okay, so because it is used a portion responsibility in the cases of the cyberbullying. Okay, so that's why it is important for us, and that's why we have to aware about these cyber crimes, and we have to knowledge about the cyber security also. So we will save ourselves from these devices. If you are using digital devices, so you are firstly, it's very important to save yourself. So before that, I will explain one thing, like who can use the computer forensic digital evidence. So criminal prosecutors, they will use the digital evidence to identify or to check the people identity. Okay, and the second is insurance company. If you are if you will go for any insurance, so they will use your data, use your identity to check like you are you are not in any criminal case and all that. So they will use your identity and check your identity. Corporate companies and corporate companies and the government, in the government job, they will identify your identity to give you the job in the government. So all in the these all are the who can use your identity, be to like all that. Okay, so we'll start the digital crime cases. There are the many of the crimes which happens in this digital era, and it's increasing day by day. So everyone using the digital devices like network and all these things, still all these things, and still many of the people are also not aware about it. Still they are not aware, okay, about the latest crimes and digital crimes. So you have to update yourself, you have to update your knowledge about the crimes, about the cyber crimes basically. So there are the many crimes some five of the crimes I will tell you. You have to read about it. So Cosmos bank crimes, SIM swapping fraud, Mumbai power outage time. It's a Chinese terror attack, and multiple government websites are down constantly. The all the websites are down. Hyderabad police bust online gaming racket. You have to get to know about these. So one of the cyber crime case study I will tell you, it's a SIM swapping fraud. So in this crime, a young 20-year-old hacker stole more than 5 million worth of the cryptocurrency by hijacking at least the 40 victims' phone numbers with a SIM swapping attack. He pled the guilty and was sentenced to the 10 years of prison. Accordingly, he was the first hacker that was sentenced to the prison for a SIM swapping crime. Authorities want to send a clear message that they will not tolerate this kind of crime, and they will prosecute the crime with the all penalty. So just you have to aware, I'm again saying this. So and you have to know, like, these crimes are not going to decrease, but they are increasing and increasing. Many of the attacks are in, like, ransomware attack, DDoS attack. Many of the crimes, many of the attacks, they are increasing day by day. Okay, so if I talk about this, like, where you improve your learning, you have to go for some internships, you have to do some courses, you have to follow some blogs, and do some internships for to join the non-profit organizations. Like, some of the non-profit organizations, uh, they give the knowledge about the digital forensics, digital crimes, cyber laws, and all that. You have to get to know about this. You have to go and check on the LinkedIn and Twitter. They will post the updated on related to this, and they will you can fill the form, and they will give you the guide and all that. Some of the government organizations also provide the internship, like recently I'm not okay. You can check on the LinkedIn and Twitter. You can check it by your own. So I'm not telling you the more there are the more companies, because okay, you can check it by your own. So job profiles, if I talk about the job profiles, so in the digital forensic there are the many types of the job profile, like cyber forensic investigator, digital forensic analyst, senior digital forensics, like DFIR we can say, digital forensic and investigator incident response, cyber security forensic consultant, forensic engineer, forensic investigator, many of the posts. Okay, so in this you have to they will check your skills. Firstly, they will check your skills, and if you are graduate, they will after that you're checked your, like, you are graduate, there's no need, like, you have to get a more of the percentage in your graduation. Some of the private companies require, like, 90% in the graduation field, but it's not worth it. Like, I'm not saying about this, but okay, so no issue. I'm telling the job profile in the digital forensics. So there are the many of the skills are required, like log analysis skills, and dark web monitoring, malware analysis, threat intelligence, and there are so forth. So you can grab it, you can improve your skills, and you will get a job in the digital forensic. Okay, so you can join the job in the private sectors also, as well as government also. And in the cyber cell you can apply. They are the like in many of the cyber cells, you can apply on that. And you can check National Investigator Agency, they will hire for the digital forensic investigator. And BECIL, Broadcast Engineering Consultant India Limited, you can check it on the Google, as I have already checked it this on Google. Like there are the many of the job profiles in digital forensic. Okay, so if I talk about the salary package, like the salary package is very good, very good. And in the digital forensic investigator, you can check it. Okay. And like forensic courses to learn, so there are the many sites where you learn about the digital forensics and the digital crimes. And there are the many of the internships where you get to know about the forensics, like Udemy, Cybrary, okay, LinkedIn, eCounsel, IT Master, Coursera, and many more. You can learn from here. There are many of the different courses about the forensics, and they will get you the good knowledge of the digital crimes also, and cyber security also. Okay. And after that I will tell you the certifications of the digital forensics. So many of the certifications are there, like computer hacking forensic investigator. It is by Easy Counsel, it present, like this certification CHFI, given by the EC Council. And case certified examiner, GIAC certified forensic examiner, GIAC certified forensic analyst, certified forensic computer examiner, access data certified, e-learn security certified digital forensic professional, ECDFP. You can check it. These are the good certificates. Certified computer crime investigator, it's also the good one. So every certificate has their own cost and the requirement. Like some certificates you will get according to your experience. Like there are the many of the certificates, the requirement of that certificate, like some experience, like in the digital forensics or cyber security, like 2 or more than experience. And some of the certificates, there is no requirement any of the experience in that. So books, according to me, there are the many of the books which you can refer, sorry, you can prefer. So one of the good books from my side, Digital Forensics Basics, you can check this. Here it is. Okay, I've already mentioned. And Digital Forensics Incident Response, this is also the good one. I have already checked it, that it is from the packet, you can download it on the Google. Fundamentals of the digital forensic, it's also the good one. I'm not check this in a detail, but it's a good. Okay. So there are the lot of the books to do study. Books are also very important part in the study or in the digital forensic cyber security, because without any bookish knowledge, because uh, you will get more and more knowledge in the book. Grab many very good knowledge in the from the with the help of the books. Okay. So you can check it. And there are the many books are available on the individual topics also, like only the digital forensics, only the computer forensics, network forensic, memory forensics. There are a lot of the books. You can check it as per your preference. So I'm going to end this presentation, so with the using 1 or 2 quotes. So rather than fearing or ignoring the cyber attacks, do ensure your cyber resilience to them. And second one is that there is a mirror of the security gap. Cyber threat is mainly a reflection of our weaknesses, and accurate vision of the digital and behavioral gaps is crucial for a consistent cyber resilience. Both are written by the Stephen Nafo. So always remember these thoughts and quotes. Okay, Quotes are very good for our life, our good role, like there's a good role in our life. Like in my life, quotes are very important because to learn this, oh sorry, to read this course, it's a very energetic. We like I'm very energetic after reading this quotes. Okay, so thank you so much for listening me, and thank you so much for giving your time to listen to listen or check my presentation. So you can follow on this LinkedIn account I've already mentioned. You can check this. Okay, so you can check on the LinkedIn account, and you can follow me if you want to follow. If you don't want to follow, so you can, don't worry. I'm not saying that you can ask me any questions, and if you want to ask, so you can ask, otherwise you can't, don't worry. Thank you so much for listening me, and all the best for your future. All the best to everyone who are learning cybersecurity, who are in any of the field. Thank you so much.